Queen Selina plays a pretty significant role in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, despite her being an added character. After rewatching the movie for a second time, it's looking like she might have played an even bigger role than we first realized. In fact, when the movie was nearing its end and Ursula finally met her demise, she may have revealed the truth about Selina's identity. And if we're right, then that means the seafaring queen was once a mermaid who was very well connected within the Kingdom of Atlantica. That's right, there's a chance that Queen Selina was once a mermaid, and the only person who would have known about it was Ursula. Now, it's easy to see why you might find that hard to believe, considering the fact that in the movie, the queen is a human and not a big fan of the ocean. On the surface, Queen Selina seems like a kind and loving, if overprotective mother who wants to keep her son away from the wrath of the sea gods. This might be one of the most interesting things about Queen Selina's character and one of the bigger reasons that some fans have sensed a connection between Selina and the merfolk. And according to this theory, it's because she was originally a mermaid before she ever set foot on land. You heard that right. It seems like Queen Selina had an entirely different life before she ended up adopting Eric, and if the theory is accurate, then that life would have been with King Triton. Considering the fact that Ariel and Selina share a lot of similar qualities, it's even been suggested that Queen Selina was once Triton's wife and Ariel's mother, though that's a fact that she wouldn't remember. Otherwise, she would have had a very awkward chat with Eric that none of us would want to be part of. Now, this is a concept that they never outright mentioned in the movie, so there's not a lot to go on in terms of what Selina's life would have been like among the people of Atlantica, but it's safe to assume that her character would have acted similar to Queen Athena in The Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's beginning. That was the movie that gave fans the most insight into what Queen Athena was like as a mother and a queen, and apparently her citizens loved her. She was shown as being very kind and musically talented, much like her daughter Ariel. On top of that, there's a comic book that Disney rejected but was written by a man named Peter David who wanted to cover more of Athena's storyline. In the comic, Athena's name was Atlanta, and she was known to be friendly with humans, even going as far as letting a human artist named Duncan create paintings of her. So if we're using Queen Athena as a comparison to what Queen Selina would have been like as a mermaid and the Queen of Atlantica, then she surely would have been kind-hearted and friendly with humans, two qualities that we know Triton is not. So it's no wonder their relationship ended up not working out. But when you hear why and how Ursula may have been the only character to remember Selina as a mermaid, your mind will be blown. Now, you're probably thinking that Queen Selina must have had a pretty good reason for wanting to become a human instead of being the queen of the sea. And if this theory's true, then it's very similar to Ariel's reason for wanting to become human. In fact, their reasons might have had to do with the exact same person. As mentioned before, if Queen Selina is supposed to represent Queen Athena, then that would mean even as a mermaid she would like humans. And as all of the Little Mermaid films have shown us, King Triton's a man with some pretty big anger issues, which often led to storms that took the lives of many sailors. Now, you would think that Queen Selina wouldn't have been okay with all of the unnecessary death and turmoil that Triton was causing, and it's hard to believe that she wouldn't have grown tired of it one day. But according to this theory, it wasn't just a difference in emotional state or opinion that supposedly drove Triton and Selina apart. Instead, it was something much more serious that would have led the queen to seek help from Ursula, who would end up becoming the only character to remember Selina's true identity. You see, according to the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, Eric wasn't a prince from birth. Instead, he was adopted into the royal family by Queen Selina after he nearly drowned in a shipwreck. Now, according to the theory, the reason that Queen Selina adopted Eric was that she knew that his parents' shipwreck was caused by the wrath of Triton, her husband. The movie never specified whether or not it was Triton who caused the ship to go down, claiming the lives of Eric's parents. But considering that Triton was responsible for most storms at sea, it wouldn't be too surprising to learn that this was true. And according to this theory, Queen Selina couldn't handle it anymore, and after she managed to save the child from certain death, she sought help from the only person that she knew could help her, Ursula. Queen Selina would have likely come to Ursula with a similar request to the one that her daughter Ariel had years later to become a human. You see, if this theory is accurate and Selina was a mermaid, there's a good chance that she and Ursula would have been good friends, or at least friendly with each other. The reason I say this is because, based on the description of Athena in the novel Poor Unfortunate Soul by Serena Valentino, the queen was the only person in the kingdom that was kind to Ursula. In fact, it's written that Selina would often get into arguments with Triton over the way he treated his sister Ursula. So when Queen Selina came to Ursula and asked her to help turn herself into a human so that she could raise Eric properly, the Sea Witch gladly obliged, not only because the two were on good terms, but also because Ursula would have known that Selina leaving would cripple King Triton, making it easier for Ursula to take the throne. So, according to this theory, Ursula used the same spell that she used to give Ariel legs in the original movie, only in this case, she didn't steal the queen's voice because she wasn't concerned with her coming back to Atlantica, so she didn't need an ultimatum. That being said, there's a catch that made it so Ursula would be the only one who would ever know the Queen's true identity. You see, in the remake, Ursula shows us that she can alter someone's mind and wipe away some of their memories with her magic. She did this to make Ariel forget that she needed to kiss Eric, so she might have done this to Selina as well. If she made the Queen forget about her life as a mermaid, then she would likely never return to the sea. Then all that was left to do was to lie to Triton and tell him that Queen Selina was killed by humans, or maybe Ursula even used her magic to make him forget her altogether. From that point on, the theory suggests that Queen Selina spent the rest of her life on land, building a reputation for herself as queen and raising her new son Eric, with only Ursula knowing her secret. Now, when the Sea Witch inevitably met her demise, it seemed like a lot of her curses and enchantments were broken, but there may be a good reason why Selina didn't get any of her memories back. You see, Ursula's death in the live-action remake pans out a bit differently than the original version of the story, but the end result is, for the most part, the same. In this case, though, instead of Eric being the one who speared the Sea Witch with his ship, it was Ariel showing that she was in control of her destiny and no one else. And when the witch finally went down, the world around them started to go back to normal. Interestingly enough, that didn't mean that all of Ursula's curses were reversed. Instead, only the most recent spell cast through the Nautilus shells was revoked. While King Triton may have been brought back to life and certain things were turned back to normal, other spells were untouched. And according to this theory, one of those untouched spells was the one that erased Queen Selina's memories of her life as a mermaid. Now, in case you were unsure of why we think that some of the events caused by the battle for Atlantica weren't undone, just take a look at Flotsam and Jetsam. Not even Ursula's eels were brought back to life, showing that not everything that happened in her wake was reversed when the Sea Witch was killed. Instead, it seems like only the most recent curses were expelled. So while Queen Selina would have remained a human, she wouldn't have any recollection of her past life, not even at the end when the movie shows humans and merpeople living in peace. This means that even in death, Ursula managed to keep Selina's former identity a secret. Think about it. If Selina had gone to Ursula for help in becoming a human, Ursula would have likely used her Nautilus shell to give the Queen legs while also wiping her memories of her life underwater. But you have to remember, if our theory is true, that would have happened a decade or more before Ursula's death. So if Triton being brought back to life and the world going back to semi-normal was the only thing affected by Ursula's death, then Queen Selina wouldn't have been able to remember her life as Triton's wife or Ariel's mother. Now, as you know, if you've seen the movie, there is a happy ending for Ariel and Eric, despite them both possibly sharing the same mom, which makes things super weird. Triton eventually allows Ariel to return to the surface, and he even gives her legs so that she can stay there with Eric, and Selina eventually opens her mind to the sea. Or, I guess in the case of this theory, she reopens her mind to the sea, though she might never be able to truly remember who she was in the first place. What do you think, though? If the theory is true, does that mean that Ursula's death got rid of any chance that Queen Selina could remember her past life as Ariel's mother, or will Disney find a way to reveal the truth? Be sure to let me know in the comments below.